Welcome once again to Omnium Gatherum TV. This is the Wednesday Omnibus for the 8th of April 2015. Um, I'm going through finals, or getting close to finals right now, the last 6 weeks of school, so my schedule is a little off and a little wonky, so that may be why these updates will come a little later than I intend on Wednesdays, but I'm trying to adjust my schedule to make up for it. So for right now, and I'm still trying to figure out how to edit these things, so for right now, just wanted to come back and bring a new update for this week. This week I want to talk a little bit about a conversation I had with a former customer of mine on Facebook, where we were talking about the new creative democracy. It started when he shared a quote from Philip K. Dick, essentially about don't let the fans drive the fiction, let the writer drive the fiction, and let the fans appreciate it or not. Essentially was the argument that Dick had made. And so this customer and I talked a little bit back and forth about how he wouldn't be happy working in today's environment where the internet, marvelous tool for communication that it is, allows everybody to have what amounts to, or what they feel may be, is an equal voice. I think this situation was best shown also this week in terms of comic circles by Frank Cho's choice of doing a sketch cover based on the Milo Manara controversial Spider-Woman cover where he featured Spider-Gwen. That promptly got the Mary Sue website up in arms, trying to shame him and communicate with him as to why this was inappropriate. And I think Frank Cho had the best possible response. He simply did another sketch cover, this time of Harley Quinn in the same pose, with the attitude of, well, we're going to keep doing these until the internet breaks. And I think that is the proper response to, I won't use the social justice an acronym that I've heard a lot on a number of YouTube videos. I've actually come to call them the new Mrs. Grundys of the word, having learned that from Robert Heinlein. And so there's a lot of Mrs. Grundys out there right now. They're trying to do what they think is best for all of us and for themselves, and it just makes them busybodies. And I think this was a perfect example of Frank Cho handling it quite properly. Don't give them a chance. Don't debate with them, because you'll probably end up losing anyway. Because as I'm learning and taking English classes, nowadays there's an attitude that words can mean whatever the person chooses for them to mean who's receiving the words, and not necessarily a standard definition that we can all work from. And so with that kind of shifting landscape, you see me futzing around with my hair, with that kind of shifting landscape, you really are uncertain as to who and what you're dealing with. You can say one thing. I gave the best example. The way people are nowadays, someone could write a scenario where a character gets murdered, but that character is dressed all in black. And some people out in the audience will assume that that means you're racist because you hate black people. Why? Because the person who was killed was wearing all black clothes. Or a similar example happened this past season on The Walking Dead when they killed a black horse, and a lot of people wanted to get up in arms. Oh, it means you're racist. You know, and I think people are reading their own personal nonsense into stuff, and it's affecting how you can tell stories. Or if anything happens to any female character, it's somehow implies that you're a sexist and misogynist. And again, it's more about these people and their interpretation of things and how they're reading into it far, far too deeply, in a lot of ways, than what is simply there in front of them. And so they're looking for things to go. So the idea of a creative democracy, no, it's not a creative democracy. In all honesty, anyone who is a creator is a dictator. They build their world the way that they choose to. The audiences are allowed to come and share and enjoy, and yes, money does exchange hands, fame can be built up, but at the end of the day, the creator is the one who lives with the property 24/7, 365 for the rest of their days. They have the right to do with their talents and their works what they wish, and the idea that the audience has a democratic right, you really only have the capitalist right. You either pay for it or you don't pay for it. If you choose to consume it for free, then you really don't have a voice, because you're not contributing to the welfare and upkeep of said creator. You're basically a freeloader at that point. But if you're paying for it, If you don't like it, don't pay for it again. Don't buy it again. It's really just that simple. I don't think there's anything else that can be said about the idea of creativity is not a democratic process. Corporate creativity aside, and even there, it's not really a democratic process. It's still a commercial process. At best, you may have corporate minders who want to have an impact and can have an impact, but again, it's a small circle. It's not just the average fan who gets to dictate what can and can't be said. But for anyone who's paying attention, let's see what your thoughts might be in the comments section below. Do you think we've now entered the realm of not only fan fiction, but of crowd created fiction, of how the crowds can actually shape what goes on a regular basis? Or do you think the creator is still in control? The consumer has the right to consume, but the creator has the right and power to create, and it's a far greater one. So if you have any comments, if any of you are watching this, please put them down below. I could use some comments. This is quite a lonely business doing this. So that's kind of my thoughts for that right now. I'll probably try to write something more in the coming weeks, tackling this from a little bit broader and a better angle. Sorry about the pause there, folks. I'm still figuring out how to handle all of this, which is the whole exercise of this. Well, having had my say on creative democracy and the fact that it's a bullshit concept, for this week, the webcomic of the week is Ménage. It's actually one of my favorite webcomics. Imagine Three's Company for Showtime, or better yet, Cinemax. It's a funny little webcomic, updated 3 times a week, about a boy and 2 girls sharing an apartment and so much more, and it is crossed in the areas of, transgenderism, homosexuality, bisexuality, lack of dating, being a geek boy and not being able to get the girl, and many other things. It's one of the funnier strips. I actually really enjoy it very much. And the porn star of the week is Bree Olson, and really the main reason that Bree Olson is the porn star of the week is because I looked up on Twitter one day, and lo and behold, she somehow decided to follow me. I really don't know why. In this sense, this is my way of returning the favor. So with that, I will wish you folks a fond farewell until next week. Namaste, folks.